The passion and the power that is the Champ Car World Series returns today to Mexico City. Back in April, the streets of Las Vegas echoed with the launch of the 2007 Champ Car World Series. During the following 7 months, impressive milestones have made this a most memorable season. It was the year we introduced standing starts, leading to incredible drama, wheel-to-wheel dashes to turn 1. It was a continuation of the supremacy of Sebastien Bourdais. His 4 straight titles may never be equaled. And we've seen a period of significant growth. Champ Car returning to Europe, dazzling crowds across the continent. This has also been a year of emerging driving talent, from a dynamic new Dutchman to a winning wonder from down under. And of course, a homegrown rookie looking to expand the family dynasty. Now, all the passion and performance that have made up version 2007 of the Champ Car World Series comes to a head in Mexico City. And welcome live to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, Mexico, for the Champ Car Gran Premio de Mexico City, 14th and final race of 2007. Sebastien Bourdais has clinched his 4th consecutive title, but it is a very close battle for 2nd in this year's Vanderbilt Cup title fight. Let's get an update on that. Downstairs first to Cameron Steele.
That's right, Rick. They're still getting ready to play Rock'em Sock'em Robots here in Mexico City. Justin Wilson leads Robert Doornbos by just 8 points. Both drivers I talked to, they said they're both going for the win, but thinking about the points battle, neither one of these guys like to lay up. And let's not forget that Justin Wilson nearly won this race a year ago. Let's go down to Bill Stevens.
Yeah, Robert Doornbos would love to finish 2nd in the points this year. He's already locked up the Roche France Rookie of the Year award. But there are 3 other rooks who would love to come in 2nd in that competition. Neil Johnny, Graham Rahal, Simone Pageantry, all within 7 points of each other going into the last race. And remember, last year, Simone and Graham were biting on each other's heels in the Atlantic Series, which Simone won. Let's go to Michelle Beisner.
All right, and something else that you're going to want to keep your eye on is the overall points battle between 5th and 9th. This mixture of veterans and rookies are only separated by 8 points. And I got to tell you, the guy that you want to keep your eye on is Dale Points driver Bruno Junqueira. Although he struggled here this weekend in his starting P12, he's coming off 3 straight podium finishes and could be the biggest threat to this pack.
And welcome live to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez alongside Jan Bikas, Heinrich Benjamin. Great to have you with us on a wonderful day for racing. Well, Sebastien Bourdais has claimed his 4th consecutive championship, and Jan, a lot of people might think he has nothing really to prove here today.
Well, don't tell Sebastien Bourdais that. He's been very focused. He wants to be the fastest in every session. He really wants to go out today on top, wants to go out with a win. However, there has been some breaking news here that we just learned about this morning. There's going to be a 22-second penalty levied against both Graham Rahal, his teammate, and Sebastien Bourdais. So let's go live down to race control. Tony Kottman, race director. Tony, why the penalties?
We elected to give the drivers some additional standing start practice time this morning due to the lower boost levels we're running here in Mexico. And the instructions were that everybody must use the start-finish line and not your pit boxes or your grid boxes. Cars 1 and 2 elected to lay some rubber in their grid box, which of course gives you more traction off the line, so they've taken a penalty.
Thank you, Tony. Have a great race in race control. Now remember, that's 22 seconds of 75, so every other driver has 75 seconds. They only have 53. Let's get down to Cameron Steele.
Well, Jan, we definitely got to point out the good run so far Oriol Servia has had here. He says it's a track he hates. He never does good here, but he's on the grid 4th. He says he's finally figured it out. He feels very good. We also got to point out that Oriol is on his 5th engineer change that he's had this year. He had 2 teams as well, and now he is back with PKV Racing, and his good buddy, Jimmy Vasser, who he was with all last year, says he's feeling good and thinks he can win this race. Let's go down to Bill.
Will Power starts on the pole, but that is really amazing when you consider how much discomfort that driver is in this weekend. Let's take you back a few weeks to Surface Paradise's home track. Halfway through the race, he's in the yellow and green Aussie Vineyards car, and he makes contact heavily with Catherine Legg. That gave Will a hairline fracture of that left wrist. Right after the race, they iced it, they put a brace on it. Today, he's not wearing a brace, he's not taped up. He says it feels good enough that he doesn't have to wear those things. And by the way, this morning in practice, that car died on the racetrack. They discovered it was a spark box that had to be replaced. Derek Walker says he thinks the car will be fine for the race. next to Michelle.
Well, on the day of the last race of the season, it seems that Paul Tracy is finally turning his season around. With a strong performance in Australia and some internal additions, Team Forsyth is finding its groove. Now, when I talked to team manager Neil Mickelwright, he said, you know, it's a shame that this is the last race. At this point, I wish we had 3 or 4 more to go so that we could be a contender for the points battle.
All right, thank you very much, Michelle Beisner. Field lining up on the front straightaway. Final standing start of the year. We have 4 different onboard looks for you today. We'll ride with Sebastien Bourdais, the 4-time champ in the McDonald's #1. His young teammate, Graham Rahal, wrapping up his rookie year in the Meta Zone 2 car. As always, Justin Wilson takes us for a ride in the CDW9 machine. And Nelson Philippe returned at Surfers Paradise. Nelson drives the Conquest Racing Juniper Soul car number 34. And we will have a look from his car as well, back in the 13th spot. Yeah, on our race analysis, it's a timed event as we have gone to this season.
Hour and 45 minutes. You can see obviously 17 turns. I think some of the key information is going to be here in the pit windows. We'll have to see what kind of strategy. But I think the big strategy is what we already touched on. Power to pass. 100 horsepower instead of 50. That's going to make a big difference on when you want to use it.
Watching for the lights to come on and then go out and put the final race of 2007 underway in the Champ Car World Series. Glad to have you with us here on ESPN2. It's been a pleasure all season long. Ready to go racing in Mexico. They're on trouble. One car stalled on the grid. Is that Serbia back there, I believe? 3 cars having trouble. 3 cars failing to fire. Tagliani, Philippe, and one of the Team Australia cars. And we go yellow immediately. There'll be a restart.
Wouldn't go in first, and then suddenly was second. And
the Homatro safety team there to throw a rope quickly to Philippe. Cameron.
One thing we definitely got to point out with these 3 cars stalled on the grid, it is going to be very tricky today, not only starting, but coming out of your pit box. Because of the altitude, drivers are normally used to being able to rev the engine up and down. But here in Mexico City, they just need to stab it and hold it. If they try to let off, the air cannot catch up fast enough to get these cars going. That's how they stall.
Of course, Cameron, we're at 7,500 feet, and each one of these drivers had multiple opportunities to do standing start practice, and of course they all went fantastic. So rehearsal went well, but unfortunately performance, a couple of people not getting off the line. Oriol Servia, the most notable, but fantastic job. Simone Pageantry in the Team Australia colors there. That is one. He's a rookie. Yeah. That was not a rookie move. Fantastic job of working his way around. Look at that, quick reactions, but still stays on the throttle, doesn't lose many positions. That was great job.
Servia having problems there, and Pageantry made that hard right turn. I thought he got into the wall initially. Let's watch from the Metazone car of Rahal.
Wow, look how close that is. Paul Tracy right up the middle.
Tracy got a great launch, but it was for naught. Caution coming out, and we'll have a complete
Well, it's not for naught, because they hold their position. So he gets those positions. It goes yellow, so therefore he picked up a couple spots.
So
now
they will line up in that run.
Yes, he stays stationed. So that was a worthy, aggressive move, and it was good that Simone Pageantry, as we watch Dan Clarke here, in trouble as well.
Speedy Dan has that matte black helmet on that he debuted back mid-season in the Muirman's Ticketmaster car number 4, and he's getting pushed off into one of the quiet areas. Let's show you what's happened this year with standing starts. They debuted back earlier in the season, and we've had a couple of instances where cars failed to fire, but we've never had any kind of real disaster. This is the first time that 3 cars have failed to fire all at the same time. It's been an exciting addition, I think, to Champ Car World Series racing.
And the most notable part about it is that on some of the racetracks where there used to be first turn pileups, Cleveland is a great example, Portland was another, they were clean through the first corner because the speed approaching off of a standing start is so much slower than a rolling.
So we are under caution, and this will be the field coming down to complete lap number 1 under caution here. Will Power, Sebastien Bourdais, Robert Doornbos, the top 3, as we take you back and show you the problems Nelson Philippe had getting going. We'll come back for the restart here in Mexico City. ESPN's coverage of the Champ Car Grand Premio de Mexico City is being brought to you today by Bridgestone. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing. And by Mazda. On any given weekend, there are more Mazda's road race than any other brand. Welcome back live to the Autodromo. Hermanos Rodriguez. The standing start here in Mexico City didn't go very well for the first time this year. 3 cars failed to launch, and the yellow was displayed immediately. So we've been under caution. This will be lap number 2 under yellow. Will Power, Sebastien Bourdais will have the top 2 spots on the restart. But Jan, as you pointed out, Paul Tracy got a great start and gets to keep that position. Now Philippe and Alex Tagliani coming to pit road early here. Perhaps to have those cars looked at. They were the 2 cars, or 2 of the 3 cars, that did not immediately launch, and their teams will take a look. They'll top off with fuel. We'll talk more about what happened in a moment. Quickly to camera.
Well, just fuel topping off, going on a bit of an alternate strategy. They were in the back of the field. I talked to both teams. They said they just wanted to top them off, give themselves a chance to do something a little bit differently earlier. I'm hearing over the radios that Dan Clarke has a clutch failure, is what they're talking about on the radio. So just wanted to update you on that.
And of course, Cameron, there are people like Nelson Philippe here. I think Robert Doornbos had a race where he stalled on the start, came in, got off of strategy, and won the event.
Yeah.
So we should also say that the yellow flag came out 12 seconds after the green. So Paul Tracy's moves stuck, and in fact took advantage of that. Went from 8th to 4th.
Speedy Dan Clarke's day over very early. Doesn't even complete a lap in the 4-car. The Ticketmaster machine for the Minardi USA squad. Clutch failure in that car at the start, and Clarke's car towed to a safe area. If you'd like more Champ Car race action, be sure and subscribe to Race Director. You can still do it today. Go to the series website, champcar.ws. You can choose from 6 different camera angles, listen to team radios, check out live telemetry, and much more, all on your home computer at the series website, champcar.ws. Check out Race Director. Field realigning under caution, getting set for a restart hopefully next time by, and Champ Car's race control says the order is correct for the restart.
Just a fantastic move by Simon Pageantry. Now, we have heard from Team Australia that he did, in fact, brush the wall, as you thought he did, Rick. You can see just here, just bumps, but they've been able to look over the wall. He's been able to feel out the car, thinks everything's A-OK.
We'll keep an eye, though, on that right rear wheel of the 15 car, the Team Australia machine for Simon Pageantry. Lights out on the safety car, should get the restart this time by. And we're being told by race control, power to pass is okay this time?
Yes, you cannot use the power to pass on the initial start of the race, but you can on the restart. However, they haven't really had an opportunity to get a lot of heat into the tires. So if you hit the button while you're going around that final Pageantry, as they call it, you're going to get 100 extra horsepower. We could have a few squirrely moments coming up here. This could be awesome.
Now we'll point out, as you may have noticed on the front straightaway, there is a white line painted in there, those little reflectors there as well. You're not allowed to put 2 wheels over that white line. You've got to stay to the right of that line.
Strategy's going to play already, Rick, because everyone said you want to save this 100 horsepower till the end of the race. But right now you're going to be a sitting duck. Let's find out who hits it on the restart.
Justin Wilson used it right there.
Oh, yeah, boy.
To jump around Bobby D.
Now you see what 100 horsepower does for you.
Now, the talk earlier in the weekend, and one car may have a problem. We see a car off the pace, it appears, on the inside. Might have been Doornbos. Wilson to 3rd here in the CCWS car. And the talk, Jan, was that it would take a full 22-second squirt to get you down the front straightaway. You don't think anybody will use a full straightaway's worth. Doornbos definitely with a problem, way off the pace back there.
Wow, that's both the teammates, Dan Clarke and Robert Doornbos, in trouble already. Wow. And he had a great qualifying.
Piaget 14, a Bobby D, couple of wins in his rookie Champ Car season, says he'll definitely be back with us next year, but he is off the pace. Something wrong with that car. Wilson did use the power to pass, didn't use a full 22-second squirt, did jump around Doornbos and get to 3rd. Let's have another look.
Okay, now the button is going to be on the right-hand side here. Sorry, he has the carbon wheel. It's going to be on the other side.
Under the Mazda bridge into turn 1. That was a replay of that move on the restart by Wilson on the Bridgestone Reds, the softer alternate Potenzas. Sitting 3rd right now, runner-up here a year ago, 2nd in the championship, hoping to lock that down today. And he's the guy, Jan, I think a lot of people are looking at to become the big dog, the dominant player in the series when Bourdais moves on after today's race.
Even the Newman Haas team had said pretty much any weekend they went to the racetrack, they always kept an eye on Justin Wilson as their mark, as the person they needed to beat. And of course, the speculation is that he may just slide right into Sebastien Bourdais' seat. Doornbos still in trouble.
He is running, it appears, but he is way, way off the pace. We can hear the motor running, but it looks as though, I'm guessing that there's something wrong back there with the motor, or perhaps he lost a couple of gears. He's going to make it to pit road under power, but he's already lost 1 lap to the field. So a tough break indeed for Robert Doornbos, the driver of car number 14 for that Muirman's USA Minardi squad. And it has been a very impressive rookie year with 2 wins so far, but Bill Stevens doesn't look like he'll get number 3 here today.
Well, you were so close on what's wrong with the car. Not a transmission problem, a clutch problem. His engineer, Michael Cannon, just told me as soon as the car started down the main straightaway on that restart, the clutch temperature skyrocketed. So they're going to bring him in. They're going to take a look at it. But right now, they do not feel very optimistic about getting this problem corrected.
Very interesting, because, of course, that's the same report we had for his teammate, Dan Clarke. So
still in gear, just in case we have to go and start it again. Still in 7th gear. Let's get the engine cover off, the side cloth. Let's have a look and see if there's anything.
It's Michael Cannon on the radio.
So Doornbos on pit road with the visor up. They take the engine cover off the 14 car. Will Power leading Bourdais by a 2.5 seconds. Wilson back there another 1.2 seconds in 3rd. Paul Tracy has gotten himself up to 4th in the Forsyth Index car number 3. PT, a guy with high hopes, it appears. Neil Mickelwright, in fact, had said, hey, we'd like a few more races this season.
Great look on board with Bourdais, and he gets a good look also at the new commemorative, it's not really a paint scheme, it's a sticker scheme, in that it has all of his wins and pole positions for his entire, well, 5 years, 4 championships for Sebastien Bourdais, and that took a whole lot of real estate.
They've left 1 spot open on the nose of the car if they can bag a victory here today. One of the crewmen told me, hey, we've got a spot in that line of decals for Mexico City 2007 if Sebastien can pull it off. Now, a year ago here, he, of course, was able to come from way behind in wet conditions as the track was drying. Contact with Justin Wilson on the final chicane before coming to the Peraltada, and he was able to snag the victory to close out his 3rd championship season. Watching the battle for 5th here, Pageantry and Rahal. Cameron Steele, what about that decaled scheme on the 1 car?
Well, actually, the team was pretty psyched on it, and one of the team members, Pedro Campuzano, came up with the idea, and everybody just kind of looked around. I think everybody was excited about it, and I know they definitely wanted that pole sticker, which they didn't get this weekend, but I think the 31st win time Paul Tracy for active drivers in Champ Car would definitely be something they'd like to put that feather in their cap.
Oh, you don't think they wouldn't want to equal Tracy's record, would they?
70.
They're such good friends.
I think you could definitely say that that's one of the, we talked to Paul Tracy yesterday, and he said, hey, I want to make sure I keep Sebastien behind me in the all-time win list. Tracy, of course, a driver who's getting into his later 30s, maybe nearing the end of his run here in Champ Car in a few seasons, and he's thinking long-term, you know, his position in the series. Now let's look at what happened to Nelson Philippe here a moment ago.
Oh, tried to get to the inside, had some rear brake lock. It was a nice save for Nelson Philippe. But you are constantly adjusting the brake bias of these cars depending on how much fuel is on board. The car is heavy now. Typically, it wouldn't step out on the back, so he'll make an adjustment in the cockpit. So next time he goes for a pass, doesn't step out from behind.
Philippe told us earlier in the weekend, doesn't really care much for this track, hasn't really come to grips with Mexico City. And, of course, just his 2nd start of the season in the Conquest Racing Juniper 34 car. Lap number 7, 6 complete, time remaining, top of your screen on the left side, along with the Bridgestone running order.
So far, the only cars near the top that have used, you have to keep reminding myself that Bourdais and Rahal only started the race with 53 seconds, but Justin Wilson out of the top group and David Martinez, Bruno Junqueira are really the only ones who took a risk, if you want to call it that, or had a strategy to use it on the restart.
As we ride with Graham Rahal down this 7/10 mile front straightaway, the Metazone 2 car. Quick reminder, grab your mobile device in a couple of moments, participate and vote in our Mazda Virtual Pit Stop. You, the viewer, try to make the right call. Great question coming up today in our Mazda Virtual Pit Stop. For 6th, Rahal and Martinez right behind him in the Forsyth Index 7 car. We'll look at their telemetry and the speed differential as they come now through the twisties on the backside of the racetrack.
There'll be a delay between the 2 numbers, but you have to look at the top numbers. When you start seeing somebody do almost 190 miles an hour on the straightaway, that's about 4 miles an hour faster than they qualified. That means that they've trimmed the car out, taken some downforce and some drag out, because when you're back in the pack, you can pass somebody on the straightaway, but you're going to get held up in the corner. So they typically will do that. If you have to make up positions, they'll take some of the downforce out of the car.
And with this 7/10 mile front stretch, highest speeds we see on the tour, of course, the thin air here at 7,400 feet of altitude as well. And with the extra 100 horsepower, we should see some very fast speeds at the end of the front straightaway. Simone Pageantry running 5th here in the Aussie Vineyards 15 car, holding off Graham Rahal, who runs 6th. Good battle into the chicane. Rahal right up behind Pageantry, and these two, of course, were the Champ Car Atlantic title contenders last season. Pageantry defeated Rahal, earned the $2 million prize, and brought that money to get himself into the Champ Car World Series. Bill Stevens.
Down here with a dejected Robert Doornbos after a great run this season. What is it like to have it in like this with a clutch failure?
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. You know, it's a mechanical sport, but to have it happen on this way, the clutch failed, left go on me at the start. That's why the start wasn't too good, and then it never came back on the safety car, and at the restart it was gone. So yeah, very painful. I mean, we were obviously very strong here, looking for a win, and now it's nothing. So shame. But I really enjoyed my season Champ Car, and let's just hope that Power doesn't win.
Yes, his quest in second place. It seems to be a ground.
Bobby D sits 16th after an early retirement. Hey, tomorrow Monday Night Football on ESPN continues. Frank Gore and the San Francisco 49ers face a key division rival, the Seattle Seahawks and Sean Alexander. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage at 7 o'clock Eastern begins with Monday Night Countdown.
So are you rolling with Nolan or rolling against Nolan?
A little early to say. I'm against.
Okay.
I think the Niners are going to have their work cut out for them tomorrow night.
They've had a tough season.
You Bay Area guys. All right. Working lap number 9. Justin Wilson in the CDW machine sits 3rd, trying to reel in Sebastien Bourdais. Will Power led from the start here. He's now led a lap in each of 8 of 14 races so far this year. As always, when we come to Mexico City, plenty of pageantry and excitement. The Mexican fans on hand to cheer on 2 of their own, Mario Dominguez and David Martinez. We'll be back. And we welcome you back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. We're on board with Nelson Philippe in the Conquest Racing 34, the Juniper machine. Great view here, and the Champ Car World Series has more content available for you on the new iPhone. Special website showcasing the latest videos from Champ Car. Previews, recaps, interviews, short video capsules, and more. If you're an iPhone owner, go to www.ccws2.com/i. The site updated regularly with the best from Champ Car. You can watch on the go on your iPhone. With Jan Beekes, I'm Rick Benjamin, watching a good battle up front here. Will Power has led from the start. We're working lap number 12. Heading toward the backside of the racetrack under the Mazda Bridge, Sebastien Bourdais with that penalty in play and Cosworth Power to pass time. He is 2nd by a 1.5 seconds. And here the CDW9 machine, the Rousport car of Justin Wilson in 3rd right now. 2.8 seconds behind the leader. Last time down the front straightaway. Paul Tracy in the 3 car, the Forsyth Index machine, really picking it up now, Jan. Good move on the start to get there, and he rides 4th.
Paul Tracy has always made great starts. We never question his aggressiveness. But one of the things they've struggled with this year is just finding a road course setup. We've talked about the fact that Tom Brown has joined the team and got them to where really that has given Paul Tracy as much mental confidence as well as mechanical. He loves the way the car is. They still don't think they've found exactly what they want when it comes to road course. Michelle?
President of Forsyth Racing, Neil Mickelwright. I said earlier today that you guys have really turned things around in the latter part of this season, and now Paul is jumping up on the grid. He's running 4th now. What do you attribute to this late season success?
Well, I think that obviously we had a pretty tough beginning of the year, and we've made some changes and brought on some additional personnel, reevaluated what we're doing, and things have started turning around. So we didn't actually start as far up the grid as we thought we would due to a couple of issues in qualifying, but right now we're running 4th, still a long way to go. Hopefully we can make it to the end.
And what about the latest addition in your other car, Mr. Martinez, who's running 7th? You've got to be pretty happy with him.
Oh, yeah, I'm very, very happy. I mean, obviously, this is only his 2nd time in the car, and only the 2nd time he's driven a car in over a year. So hopefully that speaks not only to the quality of him, but also the quality of the car.
Thanks, Neil.
Yeah, David Martinez, certainly a guy who has high hopes for being in this car full-time next year with the Forsyth Index team. He's got some regional backing here from Takate Veer and from Axtel, which is a telecommunications firm. Jan, here he was 9th a year ago in the old Lola. He's picked up 3 spots now after gaining 7 at Surfers Paradise. Came from 17th to 10th there, so I think he's shown he's a pretty racy young guy.
But he was somewhat psyched out in Australia, because if there's ever a racetrack, that was his first time in the DP01. And you heard Neil Mickelwright say only second time in this car, third time in a champ car. But that is a very daunting place to try and get a feel for a racetrack. Those walls are close here. He's used to this racetrack. He's driven before, doing a great job.
Hey, Jan, I just wanted to add on that I spoke with David Martinez, and you're exactly right. He was so nervous, he said, when he was in Australia. He said coming here, coming home, so to speak, it's made him feel so good that he was able to do what he was able to accomplish there in Australia. It's given him some momentum and definitely some confidence when you talk to him and watch him around the paddock.
Well, he's got reason to be confident. He's got the backing of 100,000 or so of his countrymen here today. Everyone's standing to watch Martinez and Mario Dominguez pour it on down the main straightaway. Watching the battle a little further back in the pack now, Tracy, Pageantry, and Rahal, 4th, 5th, and 6th. We're at Mexico City, Mexico, the Grand Premio de Mexico City here on ESPN. It's the final race of the Champ Car World Series season in 2007. With Jan Bikas, I'm Rick Benjamin, Cameron Steele downstairs for us, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner as well. Great to have you with us on a beautiful afternoon for Champ Car World Series racing. Young Graham Rahal here in the Metazone machine for Newman Haas Lanigan, 18 years old. A little frustrated, I think, at times during his rookie season, but you've got to give him, I think, a lot of credit, Jan. He's taken a new race car, much more powerful race car, and he's doing a nice job with it, and he's right behind his old buddy and his old rival, Pageantry.
That's just what I was going to say. Pageantry and Rahal battled in the Atlantic Championship. Now they're battling today. But one thing I notice about Graham Rahal, when we watch some of that telemetry, he's fast down the straightaway. So if he can get close to Pageantry, he might be able to get by him.
I spoke to Graham Rahal just before the start today, and I asked him about the penalty that was assessed on he and his teammate on the power to pass, and he said he really didn't know how much of a factor it would be. He said it's the way the race plays out. There's just so many different variables, but obviously he wasn't happy about the fact that he's not going to have as much punch as the other drivers.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes, but it's not a penalty you can't recover from. It just means that you have to be a little more judicious on your button use and save it for the end of the race.
Second in the Roush Franz Rookie of the Year standings. A couple of podiums, including that second at Houston earlier in the season. Well, we talked to some of the drivers in the paddock, asked them to give themselves a grade on this year. Graham Rahal was one of them.
Well, I'd say I think it has to be somewhere in the B. I would say B to C range, honestly, because expected to get a win, hoped to get a win this year, and we didn't. Obviously, we have one race left, which it's always possible. But I think, you know, I've made mistakes, the team's made mistakes. There's been a lot of things. I mean, we really, honestly, should have been, you know, past Will in the championship by now. Should have been somewhere up near Doornbos. But, I mean, all the bad luck we've had. I mean, it's always difficult to put a season together. And that's what Sebastian's been able to do the last 4 years. And, yeah, unfortunately, we just couldn't do it this year.
Rahal 14 points behind Will Power in that top 5 battle in the championship standings. Rahal currently 5th, Power 4th. Rahal's got a host of good drivers behind him as well in the battle for a top 5 points position, so he knows he has to kind of watch the back end of the race car as well as try to get forward here in the finishing order today. Down the front straightaway, good battle for position a little further down in front of Rahal. Tracy just got by Justin Wilson to pick up 3rd spot, so Paul Tracy didn't use Cosworth power to pass.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong with Wilson.
The CDW car may have an issue. Simone Pageantry got by as well. Ride here with Wilson, see if we can figure out what's happened.
See if he can stay with the cars in front, but that he was way too easy pickings. Something appears, yep, here comes Rahal. So Justin Wilson, this is a racetrack that he was so much looking forward to because they always have a fast car here in the CDW9 car.
On board Rahal's machine, the Metazone 2 car. That's Wilson right behind him in the CDW machine. Pageantry has gotten by as well. So Wilson at the moment back in 6th. Mazda running order, top of your screen. An hour 17 to go here in Mexico City. Yeah, Wilson 3 miles an hour off his fastest lap pace with whatever took place as it came down the front stretch. Tracy nipped around him, then Pageantry, and then Rahal got by.
Heroes looking at it. No word yet, Justin. No word yet.
Means they're looking at the data, try and find what's gone wrong.
Obviously under power. Take a look back. This is the front straightaway last lap.
Oh, he had to lift off way early.
Brake problem?
So maybe it's a braking issue. But you know what, though? We looked out the window and saw...
We're going to do as many laps as we can.
We saw Paul Tracy blow by him on the straightaway, so that was before the braking zone.
But here comes David Martinez. He's going to pass as well. What are you hearing, Cameron?
Well, just a bit earlier, I was talking to Robert Midkiff, and we had heard on the radio that he had a misfire in the car. I talked to Robert. He said it's probably just because they're conserving fuel. He's staying off the throttle, staying out of it longer. But now what I'm understanding is that they are losing fuel pressure, talking to Dan Pettit. So losing fuel pressure on the car is what's happening.
Dan Pettit, the team owner, of course, of Rouge Sport. And fuel pressure, the actual fuel pump is down in the fuel cell itself. So that's not something that's
not reachable during the race.
Well, it could be something else that lead, let's say a power supply for a fuel pump. But generally, that's not an on-road, on-pit road replacement.
So Wilson able to be at speed in the backside of the racetrack in the S's, heading down toward the back straightaway. But on the front stretch, giving up an awful lot of speed. Martinez has gotten by him now, so Wilson back to 7th. That puts Martinez, though, up in the top 6. Very, very impressive. One of the guys I'm puzzled by, of course, Oriol Servia had that problem at the start, was not able to launch, had to restart from deep in the field. He's 10th. Mario Dominguez has gotten by him. So Dominguez 9th. Bruno Junqueira is 8th. Wilson trying to hold those drivers off as he comes around the Peraltada onto the front straightaway. Now we're almost at the front end of the first pit window, Jan, as we take a look at Dominguez and the PKV car, the 22, the pay-by-touch machine of Oriol Servia. So we might see some of these guys roll the dice, you think, and come in early here?
This would be the time that you would, because you would be able to pit and still make it in only one more stop. But that's kind of rolling the dice at this racetrack, because traditionally there's not a lot of yellow. Oftentimes there's a yellow flag. Funny enough, just like this year, there's a yellow early off, but then typically the cars tend to run, I mean, anything's possible, but the way the early strategy works, you have to get a full course yellow. If you don't get it, you've wasted. You want to stay out there.
Well, there's a look at Mario Dominguez, the native son, the official driver of Mexico City. This is his hometown. The new Tecate livery on the PCM 28 car. And Mario with high hopes coming in here. He's leading the 22 car. That's Servia, the PKV pay-by-touch machine. Dominguez with a lot of pressure on him this week, but also a lot of pride and joy, I think, that he's able to be here back in the race car with that Tecate backing. There is Servia in 10th spot. Good battle for 9th. Now, Oriol Servia, one of the drivers we spoke to earlier in the day, to get his self-imposed grade on the season.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. I would think it's an N from Nomad. I've been living in so many different teams that it's not even funny. But overall, I think we were able to get the best out of every situation, and it was kind of a pleasant year, actually.
Interesting. He jokes about having driven for so many different teams. He also said, now when I go to the autograph session, I can't remember what number to put down.
Back with PKV, where he drove last year, had high hopes of returning full-time. It didn't work out for him, but he's really landed, I think, in a good place right now. He and Dominguez having quite a battle for 9th position. That's Mario in the silver Tecate machine. Right behind him is Servia in that blue pay-by-touch car. You might want to hang the nickname on him of maybe Suitcase Servia. That might be a good thing. Pick up the uniform in the suitcase and carry it to a new transporter for a new weekend. Well, time now for our Mazda virtual pit stop, where you, our viewers, try to make the right call. Our question today: who's been the biggest surprise in Champ Car in 2007? Use your mobile phone. Text A if you believe Robert Doornbos is the answer, B for Bruno Junqueira, or C for Oriol Servia. 55333 is the number. Standard texting rates apply. We'll have the results for you of our Mazda virtual pit stop a little later in today's broadcast. 18 laps are on the board for the leaders. And this is the front end of what we expect to be the first of 2 pit windows. And we will see if any of these drivers decide to pit early here. Michelle, what about the PKV team strategy?
Well, team owner Jimmy Vasser of PKV, how bad did that stall at the start affect Servia?
Well, put us at the back. We gained a little bit of a window to maybe make it in 2 stops if it stays green from here on out, and it's been getting good mileage and move it up. So, we'll see. We got a good battle here with Dominguez. I think we're looking all right.
Are you asking him to conserve fuel?
We have a number we run to, so we're still trying to make track position as well.
All right, now quickly, what about Janny? Why did you bring Janny in so early?
I didn't bring him in. You got to talk to Mark Johnson.
We'll go over there. All right.
So Servia stays on the racetrack, but Dominguez, I believe, coming to a stop. The PCM team going over the wall to put fuel. And Bridgestone Potenzas on the Tecate 28 car. So Dominguez using that early stop strategy.
Added a lot of front wing as well. but you would do that when you go to the black sidewalled Bridgestones because there's a slight balance change. But this is a case where, you know what, if you really don't have the speed, pit early. If there's now a caution between now and when the leaders pit, you get a free pass to the front.
ESPN2 dishes college hoops tomorrow night. New Mexico State's Aggies taking on DeMarcus Nelson and the number 11 Duke Blue Devils. College basketball returning to ESPN2. It's tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. New Mexico State and the Duke Blue Devils tomorrow night on ESPN2. Up front, it is still Will Power in the Aussie Vineyards 5-car. He's led the first 19 laps here today, and he hasn't gone to the Cosworth Power to Pass button as yet. Sebastien Bourdais, 0.6 of a second back, trying to win in this final start. Can Bourdais get around Power, who's had an up-and-down season? Early in the season, Power and the Aussie Vineyards team scored the win in the opener from the pole in Las Vegas. They would come back and win in the rain in Toronto. But after those 2 early season victories, a run of mechanical problems for the team, giving Power a lot of headaches late in the year. Welcome back to Mexico City, Mexico here on ESPN. Coverage of the Champ Car World Series. Greg Moore Legacy Award, the annual award, one way the Champ Car pays homage to its past, honoring the well-loved Canadian star. Tragically, he lost his life during a 1999 event at the California Speedway. Now, the award honors the driver who most typifies Moore's distinctive combination of on-track talent and dynamic personality. Our nominees this year include Justin Wilson. We're riding with him right now. Graham Rahal, Simone Pageantry, Champ Car Atlantic star James Hinchcliffe. You can participate in the voting by visiting our website, champcar.ws. Good battle back here. The Sonny's Barbecue Machine of Bruno Junqueira. 3 straight podiums for Dale Coyne Racing. Bruno currently 7th. Oriol Servia in the PKV Pay by Touch 22. Right behind him in 8th position. And Catherine Legge has moved up nicely. Catherine Legge has gotten up to 9th position after starting deep in the field. She lined up 16th here today. She has not yet pitted, but she has moved up nicely. One of her best runs of the season in Dale Coyne's 11 car. So good run for Catherine Legge. She's a little bit further back behind this particular battle.
Now, Michelle had talked earlier about Bruno Junqueira and the great run that he's been on and the chance in the championship, but pretty much from the day that they rolled this car off the trailer, he hasn't been happy with it. They've been working hard. Graham Rahal comes on the pit road, I think, because they just cut up to Paul Tracy, and here comes the lead change.
Down into 1, Sebastien Bourdais was on the button. He used Cosworth Power to pass, the extra 100 horsepower, nipped around Will Power here just before pit stops. Rahal making his first stop. He was 4th at the time he came in.
I was starting to say, I believe that Graham was pitting because he closed into 3rd place. Paul Tracy decided he'd come on to pit road. This is a case, as you said, using power to pass. Bourdais now has 39 and Will Power 66, meaning that Will Power saw him coming. But you see, oh, there's a flashing light. He got the word from his crew, tried to defend himself by going to the power to pass himself to use it defensively, but it was too late. It's a case where with 100 horsepower power to pass, if you get to it first, even if your spotter says he's on it, it's too late.
So Bourdais takes the lead here in his final run now for Newman Haas-Lanigan, wrapping up his 4th title at Surfers Paradise, and he is pulling away from Power.
Well, you would need to. If you're going to use your power to pass, you better have something to show for it. In other words, you need it for the end of the race. The only time you would use it is saying, if I can just get by Power, I can drive away from him. They probably saved a bit of fuel behind him, and now they've turned him loose.
And as you pointed out earlier, Jan, when we spoke about the time change, 75 seconds.
Lap 7, run hard. Give us a hard in lap. No fuel concern. We have blacks ready.
That's the word from the 1 car's pit box. He's going to try to run hard, gain as much ground as he can in this lap around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. 5 years in Champ Car for Bourdais, 30 wins in just 72 career starts, an incredible batting average. Wants to win his 31st here today. If he can build a good lead, that would help him a great deal. He only used 14 seconds on that squirt of the 100 horsepower, Jan.
And that's what I would do. Why let somebody know you're going to be on power to pass around the Peraltada? You want to wait till you just can pull it off. That was nicely done. Now we see some people leaving pit road. Paul Tracy.
Looks like Simone Pageantry on pit road there as well.
You would assume those are drivers who didn't get quite the same fuel economy, were pushing harder, because Sebastien Bourdais was definitely saving a little bit of fuel riding behind Power, and he's pitting next lap, according to Kenny Seawick.
On board the Metazone machine of Graham Rahal, back on the track in 6th. He made his pit stop a moment ago on lap 23.
We're ready, Seb. We're ready. Pit this lap.
The 24-lap mark for Tracy and Pageantry when they make their first stops. Bruno Junqueira stopping then as well. Justin Wilson stopped 3 laps earlier. Catherine Legg stopped on lap 23, as did Alex Figge, and Catherine only fell back to 12th, so a very good day for here. Now, here comes the series champion in the McDonald's machine, Sebastien Bourdais' first stop of the day of 2 planned.
Clear in and out of your box, Seb. Nice and easy, right on the mark.
Will Power pitting at the same time.
Now, Will Power cannot short fill because they need all the fuel to make it only 1 more stop. So you've got to take all the fuel.
Guys, I'm here in Sebastien Bourdais' pit. According to Kenny Seawick, no changes to the car I can see, and anything other than the black tires are going on. Everybody happy, everything smooth down here.
Power down and away right behind him.
All clear, no traffic. Stay drivers right to turn 1.
He's reminding him to stay drivers right. Even if there's no one on that front straightaway, they want you to stay down that line, even if there's no one behind you, just for safety's sake.
So Bourdais and Power off of pit road in tandem virtually there into the S's.
Will Power's pit stop very much like Sebastien Bourdais'. It went well. They went from the reds to the black tires. Derek Walker said that they did not make any changes to the car. I asked about Will's wrist. He says he's not said a word about it. You can assume it's feeling all right at this point.
Will Power there. Paul Tracy trying to draw a bead on Graham Rahal. This would be for 4th position unofficially now after the pit stop shuffle. Oriol Servia stopping early. He cycles up to 3rd in the running order. It doesn't look as though Bourdais gave up the race lead. Rahal 4th after lining up 7th here today. Remember, we had that aborted start, the standing start with 3 cars failing to launch the caution out immediately.
Lassina Graham stayed on the red sidewalls. And we'll have to check Paul Tracy's situation, because we know that his teammate, Sebastien Bourdais, decided to go onto the blacks, at least during this segment. We'll have to see in this midsection which is the right tire to have.
Now, they were telling us during qualifying, the Reds were best for only a lap or so.
Well, they've hit their peak for only a lap or so, but they are a softer tire, and these cars lose 1,000 pounds of downforce up here at this altitude of 7,500 feet. So you want the grippiest tire you can get your hands on. Oh, look out! You need a Paul Tracy. Man.
Oriol Servia bringing the pay-by-touch machine in, the PKV 22 car. Gives up 3rd spot.
Now, Paul Tracy looks like he has his teammate. Yes, his teammate's now right behind him. Of course, after that big moment that he just had in the Peraltada, which you enter, you come off that little chicane at 32 miles an hour. By the time you go around that long corner, you're at 140 at the exit. That's big time acceleration while you're turning. And it didn't work out so well for Paul Tracy. Now he's got to fight off his teammate.
Now Martinez can go to school here, perhaps, behind his teammate. Follow Tracy, learn a little more about the line here at Mexico City.
Well, I just looked out in the stands. A lot of the fans are on their feet because they know that the best benchmark for their hero, David Martinez, that they've come to see is how he compares to Paul Tracy. Now they're neck and neck on the racetrack, because that's always the way. You don't know what kind of car somebody has underneath them. But then when you have a race for your teammate, all right, let's find out how our Mexican guy stands out.
Tracy in car number 3 of the Forsyth Index machine, up to 4th right now. It's been a very good weekend. We got PT's version of his grading scheme for his year.
I don't know. It's always difficult to win a race, and we won a race this year. So, from that standpoint, it's been a pretty disappointing season. We've had highlights and we've had lowlights, and there's been kind of no in between. So, maybe a C. I wouldn't say a B. We haven't performed as a team.
Interesting. Paul Tracy maybe grading himself with a C. Still got a great sense of humor. He wrote something up that they shared in the drivers meeting talking about that one victory. Said his race rules. One of them was if you can knock 3 wings off and still win the race, you should get a $250,000 bonus, which of course he did on that race that he won.
David Martinez back in 5th position. A very strong run. His 2nd trip here to one of his home racetracks at Mexico City. And we talked to David about the pressure of running here.
It puts some pressure before the race weekend when you're thinking about it. Once you're in the car, I think it gives you that extra energy you need, to make important decisions on the race.
Well, after the first cycle of pit stops now pretty much complete for everyone, Martinez has moved himself up to 5th behind his teammate Tracy. It's Bourdais, Power, and Rahal. The top 3, Tracy, Martinez, and Pageantry next in line. Justin Wilson, we heard earlier about the fuel pressure problem. He obviously lost speed on the front straightaway at one point. Several cars passed him, but Justin is cycling around in 7th position right now in the CCWS car. But here's Martinez and that Forsyth Index 7 machine with help from the Axtel folks here in the Mexico area in the country, as well as the Tecate beer folks. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Michael Cannon, the race engineer for Robert Doornbos. We thought you guys maybe were throwing the towel in. You're repairing the car. Must be for the points.
That's right. I mean, if Will Power wins the race, gets a point for the fastest lap, then he passes us in the championship. All we have to do is go out there and take that away from him. We're going to fix the car, and that's what we're going to do.
Is it feasible that you can get the car repaired?
Yeah, absolutely. They've been here for 20 minutes. I'd say we're about 80% done, so we'll be out there in about 15 minutes.
By the way, Justin Wilson's team, very aware of what's going on. They've had a fuel pickup problem with their automobile. Their team has been told, keep an eye on Doornbos, see if he gets back out there again.
Very interesting. Of course, there is that additional championship point, as Michael Cannon said, for fastest lap. Now, to think that you can take a car apart, put it back out there, well, I guess if you were out there running solely for the fastest lap, you'd send it out there on light fuel, in qualifying trim, and just simply go out there and try and get that. Now, where there's also some points just for obviously bringing it home.
Well, Sebastien Bourdais wants to close out his season and his champ car career with a win here in Mexico City. Tomorrow, Monday Night Football on ESPN continues. Frank Gore and the San Francisco 49ers and a key division rival. They'll battle the Seattle Seahawks and Sean Alexander. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. Bourdais got a 2.5-second lead over Will Power. Bourdais' teammate Graham Rahal trying for his first career victory. He's 3rd right now. Can he get to the top step of the podium? We'll find out when we continue in Mexico City. The fans love Champ Car World Series action here. They really get into it. Tremendous support for the series here. It's been an exciting weekend all season long at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. We'll be right back. ESPN's coverage of the Champ Car Gran Premio to Mexico City. Brought to you today by CDW. The right technology right away. We welcome you back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. 100,000 folks here this weekend to enjoy the Champ Car World Series. Always one of the most colorful and passionate groups of fans. Move on the racetrack to the inside. This is Pageantry on David Martinez. Pageantry taking 5th away in the Aussie Vineyards car number 15.
And he used
rookie contender,
he used a bit of power to pass just at the very end. I think that's the way to go. I think when you get close to someone, you wait till the end of the straightaway to use a bit of it, because if you used it the whole distance of the straightaway, you lose obviously that many more opportunities to use it later.
Alex Tagliani pitting the PBS Securities 8 car below us as we watch this battle. Martinez in the Forsyth Index 7 machine looked like he wanted to try to come back on Pageantry in the twisties there, but it's hard to do that once you give up that momentum.
Martinez had a tough time staying with Paul Tracy. We built that up to see how the two compared, and once Paul Tracy recovered from his big wiggle in the final corner, it's just a case where either he or the setup or the car or his pace just wasn't quite up to Paul Tracy's, and Pageantry smelled that, took advantage.
Now, Tracy has only used 11 seconds so far of Cosworth power to pass time, which is worth an extra 50 horsepower here, 100 horsepower total. Something Champ Car's trying, perhaps, to use full time in 2008. This is the battle between Pageantry and Martinez. Last lap speed's pretty comparable, but Pageantry starting to drive away from Martinez there in the Forsyth Index car number 7. Pageantry in the Aussie Vineyards 15, the yellow and gold machine, left of your screen as they come down this long front straightaway.
Use lots of fuel.
You love to hear that. Use lots of fuel, go fast. All right, excellent.
Race car drivers don't need much encouragement usually in that regard.
And by the way, that was for David Martinez. We'll see how he responds.
Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Bridgestone Motorsports manager Joe Barbieri, and I know there was a lot of talk about how good the Bridgestone alternate was, but some people are asking how long it would last, and then Sebastien Bourdais comes through with his best lap time, very deep into the use of the tire.
Sometimes it's hard to realize what they're doing out there, the drivers. Every driver except one started on the reds. We checked out the wear. They're all looking really good. Now they're going to put the blacks on and really maybe go out. We don't know if they're saving fuel or doing what, but I know that we're trying to do our best to make the racing really exciting for the fans, so we're going to go right after this race, have some meetings, talk with Champ Cars, see what we want to do, and come up with a better even program for next year.
Right on, Bridgestone, always doing a great job. Let's send it back up to you guys.
All right, looks as though the Minardi Team USA squad has just about finished buttoning up Bobby D's car. We're going to bring Robert Doornbos right back on the racetrack. Yeah,
this will be fun. Not only do you want to make sure you stay out there in case someone falls out and you do more laps than they do, but you're trying to get that championship point for fastest lap in the midst of another race going on. This is good stuff.
Sebastien Bourdais on top by 3.2 seconds over Will Power. Bourdais in the McDonald's #1, trying to cap off his 5-year run in the Champ Car World Series with what would be his 31st career victory. We're at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, Mexico, to close out the 2007 Champ Car World Series season. It is the Gran Premio de Mexico City, the final round of this year's Champ Car World Series, along with Jan Beekes. I'm Rick Benjamin. Downstairs, we've got Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner for us. It's been a dandy battle up front so far between Will Power and Sebastien Bourdais. Power on the pole here, led from the start. Bourdais used Power to pass to get by him at the end of the front straightaway several laps ago, and those two have hung pretty much even. Now Bourdais starting to add to the lead. 3.2 seconds on Power last time by. Jan, you've got to wonder here, we're about halfway home in this thing. Power's got that damaged wrist, ligament damage, a couple of broken bones. He went with no brace, no tape, as Bourdais tries to lap by Alex Figge. We take a look back at Simone Pageantry now, who runs 5th after having gotten by David Martinez. I'm wondering if Will Power's wrist might be bothering him a bit now.
It might be, but I think it's a case where Sebastien Bourdais was saving something and just, at the moment, has more pace.
All right, let's get an update on Pageantry's situation. Let's get it downstairs.
Well, you know, we've made much about Will Power's wrist injury, but really underneath the radar since Cleveland has been Simone Pageantry's right wrist. He's got tendonitis, and it's very sore. So what are the odds of both Aussie Vineyards drivers having wrist difficulties? Obviously, Will with the more serious one.
Well, we know that Justin Wilson came about as close as you can get to winning this race with a broken wrist last year.
Good lap time, good fuel. -3 Tracy, +2 Martinez.
Something new for you here this weekend. Up to speed, a new way we're developing to track the progress of various competitors in Champ Car. Simone Pageantry here behind the lead. You see where Bourdais is on the race course at the end of the short straightaway that takes you to the S's. Pageantry just coming through turns 1 and 2, so a good gap back there from the leader, but that's kind of a read on track position between Pageantry and Sebastien Bourdais right now. The gap last time was about 20 seconds in terms of time. Hey, Champ Car, along with partners like Bridgestone and Mazda, helped raise funds in support of the folks from Tabasco and Chiapas, recently affected by the severe flooding across Mexico. Team sponsors individuals across Champ Car, donating funds in an effort to give back to a country that's always shown tremendous commitment to the Champ Car World Series. Champ Car's this weekend proudly carrying a special logo in support. It's called Time to Help Chiapas and Tabasco. Champ Car will be posting a link on its website for fans to make contributions to the Mexican flood relief efforts via the Red Cross. And we salute all those working to improve conditions in Tabasco and in Chiapas as well. Battle here on the racetrack. Justin Wilson in the CDW machine. The 9 car, he's got Oriol Servia back there in 8th. This is for 7th and 8th. Servia in that PKV racing car, the pay-by-touch 22. He is starting to reel in Wilson.
And for Justin Wilson, when he made his last pit stop, we listened into the radio, and he said, sort of in a dejected tone, saying, you know, guys, the car is great, but what can you do when your engine is not quite giving you the power? He's got some type of misfire, electrical, some kind of issue that's preventing him from keeping the top speed. And unfortunately, he'll probably be a sitting duck here for Oriol Servia in a couple laps.
End of the long front straightaway, 7/10 of a mile. Servia drawing a bead on Wilson. They move drivers left for turn 1. Wilson able to stay in front of Servia and hold on to 7. 47.5 minutes of racing to go. 35 laps are complete here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And Suitcase Servia drawing right up on the back wing of the CDW machine.
He wants to be full-time Servia. He's
he wants to unpack the suitcase something, right?
Yeah. But there's no question. And you can't even say, it's just that, you know, one thing about, if you want to call it Suitcase Servia, wherever he showed up with his suitcase, he just went fast immediately.
Sure.
And everybody knows that up and down pit road. So if the circumstances are right, he can get the job done and he'll find a home someplace, hopefully permanently.
Hey, he's one of the great characters, I think, in the series, too. Always very friendly, very eager to talk, and very media-friendly, media-savvy guy, and very, very quick on the racetrack.
Plus, he's the only driver that actually travels a karaoke machine to every event. So
there you go.
You know, he keeps others entertained.
Brings the party with him.
Yes.
Onto the front straightaway now. 100 horsepower on tap today when you hit the Cosworth Power to Pass button. Here's who's used what so far. Will Power's in pretty good shape.
He's got the power and the power to pass. Junqueira also, but again, you want to have the power to pass and the pace to go with it. So we'll have to see how this shakes out. What would really make a difference is if later in the race you had a full course caution. Then the people who had already used a lot of power to pass would be in serious trouble.
Justin Wilson continues to run in 7th spot. Michelle Beisner.
Ken Deagle, manager of track support for Cosworth. Now that we're halfway through this race, how is that extra boost on that power to pass going to affect the outcome?
I think you're already seeing it start to affect the outcome. Even a car that's not set up very well, if it's behind you, it's going to pass you. It's happened several times already early in the race.
Now we understand, obviously, that you guys are the only ones that can touch or make adjustments to the engines. What kind of adjustments did you have to make with this high altitude?
We had to do a lot of fuel mapping and a little bit of wastegate adjustment. But by and large, the equipment we have all year works well here.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Of course, when he talks about a wastegate, that is what you use when you have a turbocharged engine that keeps the boost at the proper level. It's essentially the spill valve, if you want to call it that. A wastegate is what lets off additional pressure and keeps everything controlled. So, Justin Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson quickly to pit road.
Yeah, but the radio call was stay out. But he obviously said too late, I pitted.
Justin Wilson bringing the CDW car down toward the Roosport pit stall. Robert Doornbos headed back onto the racetrack on Bridgestone Reds, meantime, in front of Wilson.
Wide open pit lane.
Cameron Steele.
Well, I'm here with the CDW number 9 team, Justin Wilson. He is in now. They had put fuel in earlier, hoping by filling up the tank that they would solve the pickup problem. Maybe it was just in the bottom of the tank. They say it's continuing to happen. It's definitely a problem for Justin as he comes in and puts on the Bridgestone alternates.
And thank you, Cameron, for Clarke. Forgot about that it was more of a fuel pickup. I had said earlier electrical misfire. That's right. That it was more a case where he has some speed for a while, but then starts to lose fuel pressure, and that'll, of course, you'll lose horsepower.
Wilson back out in 9th. If you'd like more Champ Car race action, subscribe to Race Director. Visit the series website, champcar.ws. You'll find 6 different camera angles, team radios, live telemetry, and more, all on your home computer. Race Director at champcar.ws, and a pass here. Here comes Neil Johnny in the Red Bull PKV car. He swoops to the inside of Wilson in the CDW 9, and Johnny picks up a spot.
And that was the case. You saw the flashing light on the back. That was power to pass in a different place than the front straightaway. And that's kind of what I was thinking was people will expect you to use on a big, long straightaway, the longest on the Champ Car Series, but that was nice timing for Johnny. He had a run with Wilson coming off pit road.
One of the busiest places this weekend has been Neil Johnny's pit. Yesterday they changed the engine in that car, and then today in practice Neil says, I don't like it. It doesn't have enough power. So his PKV team did a second engine change. Counting the engine change that his teammate Oriol Servia had on Friday, that's 3 engine changes for that team this weekend.
Been a busy bunch as far as the engine rooms of those 2 race cars are concerned. And we need to take our hats off to the PKV team. Both the Red Bull bunch with the 21 car and the Pay-by-Touch squad, the 22 being wheeled by Oriol Servia. They're the winners of the season-long Sherwin-Williams It's All in the Finish Award, presented for the best design and paint scheme on those 2 race cars all season long. For the 22 and 21 cars, PKV wins the Sherwin-Williams All in the Finish Award for the season. Now here in Mexico City, one of the races where there was an individual event award from Sherwin-Williams, and that goes to the Conquest 34 car. Juniper Soul Machine of Nelson Philippe. They win the Sherwin-Williams All in the Finish Award here at Mexico City. ESPN2 dishes college hoops tomorrow night. The Mexico State's Aggies taking on DeMarcus Nelson and the 11th-ranked Duke Blue Devils. College hoops on ESPN2. 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Working lap number 40. 42 minutes of racing to go in the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Bourdais got a 6-second lead over Will Power. Graham Rahal and Paul Tracy hungry for victory as well. We'll see if they can get closer when we come back.
Cooper Tire presents the Champ Car Atlantic Series powered by Mazda rookie, Frankie Muniz, who had a very busy week last week. You were in Las Vegas for the SEMA convention promoting the Hands on the Wheel campaign, and now you're here. You just wrapped up your rookie season. What were your impressions of your rookie year, and what are we going to see next year?
I had an amazing time this year. I learned the car, learned the tracks, and I'm really looking forward to next year. My confidence I have now going into the beginning of the season is so much higher, so I'm really excited for next season.
And there are rumors floating around that we might see some changes next season.
Yes, I will be signing with a new team, which we'll be announcing pretty soon, and I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great year.
Champ Car Atlantic Championship returns, of course, in 2008, as does the Champ Car World Series. We'll open up with the traditional Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, the silver anniversary run, and then right to Houston the next week. We'll go back to Monterey. Beautiful track, of course, Laguna Seca. Back in Toronto, Edmonton, Portland in July next year. 2 European swings, and we'll finish the year here in Mexico City. Champ Car World Series with its 30th season upcoming in 2008. 8 permanent road circuits, 6 temporary circuits as well. The McDonald's machine of Sebastien Bourdais, still the race leader. He's 5.8 seconds in front of Will Power, just putting Alex Tagliani a lap down in the Rocket Sports 8 car, the PBS Securities machine. That is a beautiful new paint scheme that we saw the first time in Surfers Paradise on the 8 car. And it is a great looking car for Alex Tagliani out of Canada. Now races out of Las Vegas, Nevada. But Bourdais has put that McDonald's car into the win.
We just want it to stay green.
A little further back, Paul Tracy in the 3 car running 4th. Trying to hang on to that spot in front of Simone Pageantry. And the Aussie Vineyards 15. So Power, his teammate, is 2nd. Pageantry is 5th. It's been a good day so far for the Aussie Vineyard squad. Tracy, we thought might have something to get up and challenge for the win here today, but he's now 23 seconds behind Bourdais. He's got a lot of Cosworth power to pass left, though. Maybe he can use that to jump ahead a bit here in the remaining moments.
He may have to use that defensively, though, because it certainly appears, as you hinted to, that Pageantry has got a lot of pace. Michelle?
Mario Dominguez coming in for his pit stop. He's doing pretty good on fuel. They switched the tires up to red. They did 1 turn on the front wing, and he's out of here.
Good, Ben.
Nice. Pacific Coast Motorsports, their new driver, Mario Dominguez, in the Tecate 28 machine. One of those 2 drivers, the official driver of Mexico City. Quite a designation for Dominguez, the Champ Car veteran. Robert Doornbos came in the 14 car, the Ozjet machine. Put the reds on, went out, and we believe set the fastest lap of the race. That was one of his goals, ran a 1:24. Now they brought him back in. He's put blacks on. Will Power working traffic here. Lap machines, threads the needle. Cuts to the inside on Tagliani. His hands full here. Moving around Catherine Legg's machine. The Dale Coyne Racing 11 car. It's been a good day for Catherine. Shown 12th right now. Not on the lead lap. Just got lapped. Oh, in trouble.
That's Doornbos looking for space. It's okay. We know he's gone out there and done one quick qualifier.
Ray Hall through. Do not hold up Ray Hall.
And you were starting to say he did a 1:24.7, which is 2 seconds faster than Sebastien Bourdais has done. So, albeit some miracle, he's going to get that 1 point for fastest lap.
Qualifying trim, I think you're exactly right, Jan. That's a qualifying lap, nearly, for Robert Doornbos. And that would give him a bonus point, which might well do a lot to lock up his points position in front of Will Power. Justin Wilson 2nd in the championship, coming in here today with 270 markers. Wilson struggling with that fuel pickup problem. He's 9th right now, but Doornbos back in 16th after those problems early. Here's Tracy in the Forsyth Index car number 3, running 4th. Ray Hall in front of him in 3rd. The gap's about 12 seconds between those 2 cars. Paul Tracy, of course, one of the all-time leaders in this series, and he expects to be back next year.
Well, my plans for next year is I've got a contract with Forsyth. We're going to continue on. We're in a rebuilding mode for the team. Obviously, everybody knows we're looking for new mechanics, engineers, all that kind of stuff. We want to get back to where we're winning races consistently, and we want to run for the championship next year, and that's what our goal is.
And there's no question this is a team sport. We talk so much about Paul Tracy and his record, but you can't do it without the team. That's one thing about Newman Haas Lanigan. We've talked about how successful for championships for Sebastien Bourdais, and it's all exactly the same. I mean, there's a few changes, but mostly the entire team has stayed intact, and Carl Haas and Paul Newman, and now Mr. Lanigan also keeping that team intact, and that's one of the keys to this teamwork sport.
Well, Tracy's got his hands full there, getting by the lap car of Alex Figge. Simone Pageantry closing in on Tracy. A tight battle for fourth. Champ Car World Series available for you with more content on the iPhone. The latest videos from the Champ Car World Series, previews, recaps, driver interviews, video capsules of our latest events. If you have the iPhone, go to CCWS.2007.Round.14.Mexico. The site's updated regularly with the best from Champ Car. You can watch on your iPhone on the go. These two on the go right now, fighting over fourth position in the Gran Premio de Mexico City, the finale for 2007 in the Champ Car World Series. Thoroughly have enjoyed this season. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage all year long here on the ESPN family of networks. We look forward to a great 2008.
Wow, Pageantry taking a lot of curve there.
And then bus stop chicane was added to the circuit last year to slow the cars down a bit before they come to this Peraltada, this 180-degree right-hander that dumps you onto this very fast long front straightaway. These cars are so fast now, and Jan, the new DP01 car, incredibly quick here compared to the old Lola. 1.6 seconds taken off the track record here in qualifying.
It has a bit more downforce and it has more efficient downforce. So when you take a car like that to altitude, it'll be pronounced how much better it is. This is a place where you are seeking all the efficient. You can't throw all the widgets on the cars to make them have even more downforce because it'll slow you on the straightaway. You need good, efficient downforce. The DP01's got that.
Simone Pageantry is having a great run. I spoke to him just before the race today, and he said that his car has been almost as equally good on blacks as it is on reds, and he was thrilled with the way the car ran on reds earlier this weekend. So right now, he feels that he has a car that can really, really get the job done.
Well, Pageantry's definitely got the whip out here with 45 laps complete. Hey, you can join Champ Car and all of its partners. Support the Hole in the Wall Camp Lap Leaders Program. Make a donation for every lap led by your favorite driver. Log on to the series website, champcar.ws. Make your donation, find out more. Will Power's led 23 laps. Sebastien Bourdais 22 to this point. But Bourdais got the lead by 11 seconds now over Will Power. Bourdais driving away from Power. Tracy with his hands full. Pageantry, really, he's right there. He's right up under the rear wing. The Forsyth Index 3 car through that very tight chicane and out onto that right-hand sweep.
Oh, he's going to pit.
Oh.
Man, I was all ready for him to go for the Power to pass. He's going to make a pit stop.
Well, here's the situation as Graham Rahal pits as well, Cameron. He's coming your way in the Medizone machine.
Front wing, guys. Down one turn.
He is here, and they're talking about adjustment to the front wing. You see him putting the Bridgestone black sidewall tires on. Says he's been happy with it. You can see the adjustment to the wing.
Run hard, run hard. Stay low all the way to turn one.
Instructions to Graham Rahal after his pit stop. Catherine Legg out behind him. Here comes Pageantry, wrapping up what should be his final stop of the day as well. Rahal giving up third to come to pit road a little early here on lap 46. Power and Bourdais able to stay out a little longer. And Jan, I was going to point out the battle between Tracy and Pageantry. Tracy able to run an extra lap as well.
It's always better if you can run longer because you're going to be out there longer with a lighter car.
Oh, in trouble for the 7 car. The Forsyth Index machine of David Martinez, the Monterrey, Mexico native. We're hearing that he is done for the day. His visor is up, the car is off. Fans standing here in the huge front grandstands at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez to salute their countrymen. Martinez in his third start had gotten into the top 5 earlier, and it looks as though engine woes will put him behind the wall before the checkered flag today here in Mexico City. Bourdais driving off into the sunset at the moment. Will Power 12.7 seconds back. Bourdais still got 30 seconds of power to pass in the bank. That 22-second penalty for practicing starts from his grid position. Here comes Paul Tracy onto pit road. Doornbos is down there too. Michelle.
I'm down here with David Martinez and his crew, and we're taking a look. It looks as though Martinez has got some problems with his gearbox, but Tracy just sped off. I mean, he cannot be stopped right now. Everything seems to be looking good for Tracy over here.
Paul Tracy with a set of Bridgestone Reds, the softer alternate Potenzas. He is down and away. Ran a lap extra over Simone Pageantry, so that may well be the margin that keeps Tracy in.
Oh, here we go, though.
Down the front straightaway. Here they come.
I think Pageantry's got him easily.
Outside of Tracy. So Pageantry drives around Tracy. He was already up to speed. PT maybe with a little slower time on pit road.
Well, I think it was the in and the out lap. Here comes our leader. We knew that Pageantry...
And out of your box. This fuel's going to be a little quick, guys. Nice solid stop here. Right on the mark, Seb.
Cameron Steele.
Well, I'm here with Sebastien Bourdais' crew, and originally he had called in the radio and asked for a tire pressure adjustment to the rear and a wing adjustment to the front. Then he called back in and said, never mind about the wing. So Sebastien, happy with the way the car's going, and he's away. Let's go to Bill Stevens.
Will Power's into the pits. They had the red tires, the Bridgestone Occidental tires out. They changed their mind. They put blacks on the car. No other changes to the car. I asked Eric Walker why the change. He said they may have a radio communication problem with Will. They asked him a couple of times what tires he wanted. He did not respond. So they decided to go red and then to go black.
All the way to the outside. Run hard.
Telling him, of course, to be sure to stay to driver's right. But you could tell by the gap when they left pit road. Now they have Oriol Servia in between the two leaders. And, boy, it's going to be a tough job for Will Power to try and chase down Sebastien Bourdais. And that pit sequence just visibly, especially since Bourdais was way at pit out, it's got a pretty big lead.
Now the pay-by-touch car of Servia shown third at the moment. He still has a pit stop to make here. It's Bourdais the leader, Power running second. Monday Night Football on ESPN continues tomorrow night. Frank Gore and the San Francisco 49ers and their key division rival, the Seattle Seahawks, will host. They're led, of course, by running back Sean Alexander. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown. A big NFC West showdown tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Bourdais driving off into the sunset. His final run in the Champ Car World Series. We'll see if Oriol Servia or Will Power might have anything for the four-time series champ when we come back. 50 laps are completed. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez off the start. 3 cars failed to fire. And Simone Pageantry touched the inside retaining wall. Caution out immediately. We had a restart with a rolling start second time by. The Minardi cars had early trouble. And Clarke's clutch went out on the start. He didn't even complete a lap today. Robert Doornbos had clutch problems as well early. They have gotten the 14 car back on the racetrack. Bourdais with a power to pass bold move on the inside. Gets underneath pole sitter and early leader Will Power. Sebastien Bourdais, even though he was penalized, he lost some Cosworth power to pass time. McDonald's machine out in front. Huge crowd of fans at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez as always. Their countrymen Mario Dominguez, David Martinez. Big favorites here. Martinez had gotten up in the top 5 in one of the Forsythe Index cars. But that car now retired with motor problems. Looks like he will not be around for the finish. Mario Dominguez, though, in the top 10, running 9th. The Pacific Coast Motorsports, their new backer Tecate. Huge support here, of course. And Mario, very much a fan favorite, the official driver of Mexico City, as so designated a couple of years ago by the city government here. 51 laps are on the board, 23.5 minutes of racing to go. And yeah, what can you say about Sebastien Bourdais as we take a look here? Justin Wilson rolling by in the CDW9 car. Now he has fought hard. He's gotten himself back up to 6th. Even though they've got a fuel pickup problem, he's been battling hard to stay in touch with the leaders.
And you talk about the problems for Justin Wilson. As you were talking about him, we had just finished talking about the Mexicans and how they were pulling for David Martinez. He's back out. So whatever the problem was at one time, it looked like it was terminal. He has rolled off a pit road. And hey, he's a rookie. Yeah. He'll get more experience. Hey, maybe they'll take him out in qualifying trim, see if he can beat Robert Doornbos' time that he posted. We can have a race within a race.
Well, Wilson in the CDW machine coming in here today. What could well be his final drive in that car. By all appearances, he'll be moving on. Very widely speculated and reported that he'll be taking over Sebastien Bourdais' seat with Numanaz Lanigan come next season. Justin second in the championship by 8 markers over Doornbos. Doornbos with that early retirement. He is back behind the wall again. He'll get 16th here this weekend. So Wilson has all but clinched second place, I think you could safely say, in the championship now. Fortune Telemetry on the CDW car. But you know he's frustrated as he dives for pit road for the final time today. He expected to be a championship contender this year.
He was. He had the speed for it, but we heard from some of the other drivers that we spoke.
You know, fuel tokens or something like that. I've seen him for so much fuel in this race. So this guy discount.
Justin trying to troubleshoot.
Superstar. Clear in. It's marked.
Everyone pretty much on a 2-stop strategy. He comes in on the Bridgestone Reds, the softer alternates. This is his 3rd stop, Bill Stevens.
Yes, unfortunately for Justin Wilson, today's race obviously is not going to be in his hands. However, he is going to finish well in the championship points, but they've been battling that fuel pickup problem throughout the day. And actually, we saw signs of this during qualifying this weekend. A good car on Friday, but Saturday it really began to falter.
Now watch this, though. These are cars at speed. Bruno Junqueira gets by him.
Bruno in the Sonny's Barbecue 19 for Dale Coyne's team. He's had a good run today. Not as spectacular as his last 3 runs where he landed on the podium. Thought he'd get a win over in Europe at Zolder. Rolled the dice on a pit stop. It didn't work out for him, but Bruno right now shown in 9th. He and Mario Dominguez have been fighting for position. We welcome you again to ESPN's coverage of the Champ Car World Series at the Gran Premio de Mexico City with the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez to wrap up the 2007 season. Ibrick Benjamin, Jan Bikas alongside Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner. Great work all season long for us down on pit road as we watch the Sonny's Barbecue car of Bruno Junqueira, running 9th right now. About a minute behind Bourdais, but he is on the lead lap.
And I was going to say that is a position for Bruno Junqueira. So because Justin Wilson has to keep making pit stops. Again, he's not burning more fuel, but the fuel's not picking up. That was the question he was trying to ask coming down pit road. Why am I making so many pits? Well, if it's not picking up all the fuel, you have to come in and just keep topping off and keep topping off. Unfortunately, he lost more spots now to Bruno.
Now Junqueira getting by. Bourdais, meantime, 11 seconds to lead over Will Power after that last pit stop. 20 minutes to go in his Champ Car career, at least at now, at this point. We talked to him before the start today about what a win here would mean to him this weekend.
Well, I think obviously any last race in a series is always emotional. So when you've done as well as we did over the seasons, you really don't want to finish on with a bad feeling. So obviously we'd love to finish with a win, and it's no surprise, I guess.
Now he talks about it being emotional in the drivers' meeting. Everyone, including the officials, the drivers, gave him a farewell and how much they appreciated him and being with the series. They said, "You want to come up and say a few words?" He was able to say only a few words. He got choked up. He started to say he had such a great time here for 4 years, started getting teary, and couldn't finish. Yeah. He's loved his time here.
Well, he should have. I mean, he certainly set a mark. 4 consecutive championships, never been done before in the long history of Champ Car racing in the United States. He'll leave quite a mark here. This looks like it might be his 31st win in 72 starts, an incredible batting average. Will Power, meantime, we show you are up to speed. New look here for us this weekend. Track position, where he is relative to Bourdais. Of course, Bourdais now in the S's on the backside of the course. Coming off the straightaway is Power to the S's, but the gap was 11.3 seconds last time by. Now, Power's still got 65 seconds worth of Cosworth power to pass time. As we check back in with Bourdais further down in the S's, he's coming to the back straightaway to take him to the baseball stadium here. And
I was just going to say. I was just going to say, well, that power to pass is great if you have extra, but we haven't had a late race caution, and wouldn't you know?
No word yet as to what the caution is for. Pits are closed at the moment. This could give Power an opportunity. Now, our Mazda virtual pit stop. Let's check back in where you, our viewers, make the right call. Our question today, who's been the biggest surprise of 2007? Use your mobile phone. You can text A for Robert Doornbos, B for Bruno Junqueira, C for Oriol Serbia to 55333. Text messaging rates, standard rates apply.
Obviously not what we wanted. We just need to be thinking about how we're going to handle the restarts and the push-to-pass situation, okay? Burn the fuel off, but keep an eye on the temp.
Robert Doornbos leading our Mazda virtual pit stop standings with 2/3 of the vote. Now, Will Power, he'll get to close right up on the back bumper, on the back wing of that one car, Bill Stevens.
Derek, earlier in the race, you were telling Will, keep your head in the game. Things could come our way. You have a yellow. We're getting into the waning moments, and you've got more power to pass underneath Will's right hand.
Yeah, I mean, we've done what we needed to do to save it for the end of the race, but there's still a lot of guys out there who can do it, so we're going to have to wait.
But do you think that the power to pass issue definitely could be what decides this race?
Oh, I definitely think that'll be the end result, yeah.
And he said that to me before the race. He said we may see that'll be the deciding factor today.
Well, you can guarantee Sebastien Bourdais has 30 seconds. The most you could possibly use on a restart would be 22. So he will have the same horsepower as will Power on the restart, but then after that he'll be defenseless.
Yeah.
So Will Power has to stay right on him, and it wouldn't be the first lap, it would be next time or so around.
We're inside 17 minutes to go. Should be about 13 or 14 minutes of racing action when we go green. Mario Dominguez getting set for the restart. He was part of a big effort by the Champ Car folks as well as PCM earlier this week to visit a local orphanage. Earlier this week, the Pacific Coast Motorsports drivers brought gifts to the orphans at the Ajulam Orphanage.
It's great when you can see the kids and when you can see that they smile because you're here, they see someone different to come and talk to them about something different like racing cars. Even though this is a very small thing, insignificant, if everybody in the world did a small thing to help others that are less fortunate than you, it will be a much better world. So it's a great opportunity, and I welcome it with open arms, and I hope I can do a very good job this weekend for all these kids and put Mexico's name high on top of the podium.
Now, Mario certainly a fan favorite here. The folks from Bridgestone also helping in that effort to provide toys for the orphans at Ajulam Orphanage. And our hats are off to Bridgestone, Pacific Coast Motorsports, and Mario Dominguez. If you'd like to see more of Mario and his amazing journey to one of the orphanages here in his hometown, log on to the series website, champcar.ws. Under full course caution. We'll come back on the restart. Will Power will have a shot at Sebastien Bourdais as the laps wind down in Mexico City. Hey, ESPN2 dishes up college hoops for you tomorrow night. The New Mexico State Aggies will take on the number 11 Duke Blue Devils with DeMarcus Nelson. It's college hoops on ESPN2 tomorrow night at 7 Eastern. Find out more at ESPN.com. Welcome back to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez Packed House here to watch the Champ Car World Series wrap up its 2007 campaign. Looks like one more lap until we get a restart. Debris on the course, and this gives Will Power an opportunity to take a run at Sebastien Bourdais for the race win here. 12.5 minutes, less than that, remaining in the 2007 season. Now, our Cosworth Power to Pass worth 100 horsepower here. There you see the big gap between what Bourdais has remaining and what Power has left in his bank.
You look at that graphic, it's pretty obvious that Power and Servia have got a nice advantage, and to some degree Bruno Junqueira. So that is what really the topic of conversation has been since the 100 horsepower increase has been talked about, that you had to save it. And funny enough, a penalty and having to use it to take the lead now makes this man vulnerable.
All right, Cameron Steele, what are they saying in the McDonald's pit stall?
Well, there's a smile on their face. Craig Hampson has been with Sebastien Bourdais all 5 years, and your engineer, 4 championships, and you guys are laughing a bit. Caution comes out. You guys aren't happy about it. You guys feel a little bit like sitting ducks here because Power does have more power to pass.
Yeah, sure. We had a 11-second lead with the McDonald's car, and then that all evaporated because I guess there's a front wing end plate out there somewhere. The power to pass is a big deal here. It's a lot of speed, and he has twice as much as we do right now. Sebastian's really got his work cut out for him here. I'm not saying he can't do it, but this is going to be really hard. It's just a shame that yellow came out.
Well, you guys have done some great things together. This must be a little bit gut-wrenching to see it all coming to an end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad. We've accomplished great things. Sebastien has done just remarkable stuff for the McDonald's team and Newman Haas Lanigan Racing, and we're going to have a new chapter, and we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, I'm very sad to see him leave.
All right, Craig Hampson putting it all together. We'll see how it shakes down here on the restart.
Bittersweet, I'm sure, for everyone involved at Newman Haas Lanigan.
It won't start. We might as well try, though.
As they bid farewell to a great champion. Meantime, Catherine Legge, who had one of her best days of the season in Dale Coyne's 11 car, stalled on the front straightaway. She was out of harm's way, but the yellow stays out. The Homatro safety team there with one of those beautiful Mazda CX-9 safety vehicles will throw her a rope and bring the 11 car around, see if they can bump start her. And she's right in front of us, not sure. Looks as though that car will not fire. So it looks as though Catherine will have to get a push onto pit road, and they'll have to do some work on the 11 car.
And because of it, they're not going to go green.
Find the temps when you can.
No start this time by J.D. Wilbur on the flag stand, displaying the double waving yellows. We will stay cautioned at least one more lap.
There was an issue on the front straight. Catherine was stalled. Safety was out there. Just be ready. They're saying no start.
Boy, you could sense the tension, couldn't you? When they were coming down that back straight.
You could hear them starting to gas a little bit.
You could say, okay, here it comes. And at the last moment, they had to wave it off one more time around. But again, I don't think Sebastien Bourdais is in trouble on the restart. It's just after that, he's not going to have much left. If I was Sebastien, I might not hit the button immediately. I might do it halfway down the straightaway to save myself a couple of pushes. But boy, that's risky because Power is fast.
Well, and my question to you is, if you're Will Power, what kind of card game do you play? Do you get it right away, or do you wait a lap or two?
No, if you've saved it, you got to use it now. I think Will Power.
It depends on the time when we go back to green.
He's got a couple of opportunities with 65 seconds to go. Meantime, Catherine Legg done for the day. Let's get it downstairs.
All right, you guys, I'm running up on Catherine Legg here. And Catherine, unfortunate situation. What happened?
Yeah, it just died. We tried to restart it. I don't know what happened. It's just been one of those weekends, you know. We've been fast at times when everything's gone right, and so many things have gone wrong. It's kind of just like the rest of my season, I guess.
It has been a tough season. I want to ask you, today you had smiles on your face. You seem to feel comfortable with the car. Do you feel like it was coming back together for you a bit?
A little bit. We found a number of problems yesterday, and we put it all back together this morning, and it seemed good. It seemed fine again, and then back to issues. I don't know. I'm just disappointed. It's just a really bad way to end the season.
All right, a tough ending for Catherine Legg. Definitely disappointed, but one of the fan favorites, definitely one of the great drivers of Champ Car.
Sebastien Bourdais will be the restart leader in the McDonald's one car. A little different situation this year from what he faced when he won here a year ago. He was the challenger a year ago in Mexico City. Justin Wilson had this one in hand. It seemed it was a wet day for the most part. Wilson in the CDW car, big lead. Bourdais somehow rallied, made this pass on the final lap. Contact, parts flying, but Bourdais' win counted. He went to the house with a victory to wrap up his third consecutive Champ Car title here 1 year ago.
That was one way to end the season. That was one aggressive move. And again, he's the champion. There's nothing on the line for him, but I am telling you, he is as focused right now as he would have been at this point last year when he went for everything on the last lap. We're getting ready to go.
Final few moments of racing in the 2007 Champ Car World Series season. 7.5 minutes of racing action to go. Looking for a restart this time by. Should be about 5 laps of green flag running. Bourdais hammering it out of the final corner.
Power is on it.
Well, Power's on the button, but he's back about 20 car lengths as they come down the front straightaway.
But Sebastien had such a good restart, he hasn't even had to use it.
Tracy's on the button, so's Rahal. Let's see what happens.
Here we go.
Trying to shuffle the deck down into turn 1. Pageantry gets passed by a couple of cars. Tracy and Serbia, I believe, got by Pageantry there. Yes, they did. Rahal continues third. On board Rahal in the Metazone 2 car. Bourdais and Power both used the button as they came down to the restart, and Serbia dives to the inside of Tracy.
Wow.
Serbia picks up a spot.
That's a tough place to pass. Nice job, Oriole Serbia.
Trying to get that PKV ride lined up for 2008. Oriole Serbia with a great move through the twisties on Paul Tracy.
And I'll tell you, just a few moments ago, Jimmy Vasser told me that they were imploring Oriole to get on the button. He had plenty of power to pass left. He's notorious for not using it when he has the opportunity. Just then he did, and you saw the result.
Good move by Serbia to get by Tracy. Bourdais continues to lead. Here's a move, a look back at the move by Serbia.
That's where Serbia used it on the approach to turn number 4. It doesn't look like a long straightaway, but you do 168 miles an hour down that straightaway before turn 4. Now Serbia has more to use. Is he going to use it now to get after Rahal?
Oriole Serbia in the pay-by-touch 22 car. Currently 4th, lined up 4th on the grid.
Got a little less than you. Got a little less. He's on it. He's got less than you.
Here comes Dominguez.
Mario Dominguez in 7th. He's got some time remaining. Serbia to the inside, trying to make another move for position. Gets around Rahal, so Serbia moves to 3rd. Rahal trying to come back at him.
Also looks like Mario Dominguez was able to pull off his pass as well. So we had simultaneous passes. Yes, sure enough, he got by Pageantry, the gray car now, the Ducati colors, but here comes Pageantry back again.
Pageantry to the inside of Mario Dominguez in the Ducati 28 car. Good battle for position. This is for 6th. Bruno Junqueira right there as well. And the Sonny's barbecue car. Great battling here at the end. And this is what Champ Car wanted with the move to the 100 horsepower on the Cosworth power to pass. Will Power continues to trail Bourdais up front. Bourdais got 22 seconds left under his button. Power 39 seconds remaining.
That was a nice move by Pageantry, and that was a very valiant effort by Mario Dominguez. I don't think he necessarily has had the pace today, but he got on the button, gave it everything he could. But boy, what a nice answer back by Pageantry, who quite frankly got beat badly on that first restart, got passed by 2 cars.
Yeah, Pageantry's got Dominguez and Juniper now right with him as they come through the bus stop there, the chicane at the baseball stadium. Here's the Peraltada heading to the front straightaway. Bourdais still with a good lead over Power.
And
Should be about 3 more laps.
The amazing thing about the lead there was that Sebastien Bourdais was so fast off the final corner that Will Power could not even stay with him. He didn't even have to hit the button. I mean, that's like,
he got a great start.
That puts an exclamation point on the championship. I don't need no stinking power to pass.
So it's Bourdais, Power, and Serbia now in the top 3, and Rahal 4th. He's on the button. He's got 6 seconds to go. Rahal unable to reel in the car of Oriol Serbia. There's Will Power, your second-place runner. Drawing a little closer to Bourdais here. Time clock, top of your screen, is key. David Martinez will return to the race in the Forsyth Index 7 car. 3.5 minutes to go. Simone Pageantry in 6th. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Rob Edwards running things for Simone Pageantry. He lost a couple of positions on the restart. Was he just not aggressive enough or a problem?
I think probably was a little too conservative. He's trying to save some push to pass for the last couple of laps, and thought he could probably not have to use it to stay where he was, and we'll see if we can get it back the last couple of laps here.
He got one back. Let's see if we can get the other one.
Pageantry shown 6th behind Tracy there. Pulling out just a little bit on Mario Dominguez, as you pointed out. Dominguez just hasn't really had the speed today, but a great run for Dominguez in his hometown to sit 7th in that Takane car for PCM. Onto the front straightaway. 2:50 to go in the action here today. Serbia is 3rd. Rahal is 4th. Tracy is 5th now. Pageantry 6th. Power and Serbia are on the button. Power trying to draw closer to Bourdais. 1.5 seconds the gap last time by. There's Rahal. Here's Tracy. 4th and 5th. Tracy on the Bridgestone Blacks. There's your leader, Bourdais, in the red and yellow McDonald's car. You can see the gap he's built up over Power. Here's Rahal, running 4th, trying to close in on Oriol Serbia. Rahal's got 1 square left.
He's got another square left. They're keeping a close eye on that gap between Bourdais and Power. It's maintained about the same. Will Power, if he's going to have a shot at winning this race, has got to get closer.
On board the CDW9 car of Wilson, back in 10th. He's got 8 seconds of power to pass time remaining, but he has that fuel pressure, fuel pickup issue. Trying to get up on Neil Johnny and challenge for 9th. That'll back here, Bruno Junqueira in 8th, trying to hold off Johnny. And trying to chase down Mario Dominguez as well. Inside 2 minutes to go. There'll be 1 more lap. Don't know if we have time for 2 more. 62 complete here in Mexico City.
Now Johnny is out of power to pass, so he's not going to have anything happening here. But Bruno Junqueira still has some left.
Bourdais still the leader by 1.5 seconds over Power. 1 to go. The signal from J.D. Wilbur to the leaders. Serbia and Power on the button. Rahal's on the button. Tracy's on the button. Down the front stretch for the final time. In 2007, Neil Johnny there. Everybody using what they've got left in the bank. Dominguez trying to hold off Junqueira for 7th. Bourdais is still the race leader. There's the Sonny's Barbecue car of Junqueira. It's been a great end of the season run for Bruno. He will not get to the podium this time. He's able to hold off Johnny for 8th right now.
The gap between Sebastien Bourdais and Will Power was almost identical the last time around. So Will Power still has a little bit of power to pass left, but just amazing to me on this final lap that Sebastien Bourdais, who we thought could be a sitting duck, simply just drove away with less power to pass from Will Power.
Now here's Power. He's got 12 seconds left in his power to pass bank. Bourdais held on to his. He's got 22 seconds left, so the scales have turned again. Bourdais into the Peraltada. Final time in the Champ Car World Series in 2007. Bourdais on his way to victory. Power has nothing left for him. Bourdais is going to close out his 4th straight championship. Jim Swinton waves the checkered flag trackside. The McDonald's team in Newman Haas Lanigan wins again in Mexico City.
Congratulations, all you guys.
Bourdais defeats Power. Serbia gets to the podium for PKV. Rahal and Tracy round out the top 5 in Mexico.
Nice job for Mario Dominguez, hanging on for 7th.
Great run for that Pacific Coast Motorsports team. Certainly one of their best runs of the season. Their first year in Champ Car. Bourdais caps off his 4th consecutive championship season with another race victory. 31 career wins in his 73rd start. We'll come back and talk to the champion when we return in Mexico City. ESPN's coverage of the Champ Car Track Trivia to Mexico City is being brought to you today by Bridgestone. For drivers who want to get the most out of their cars, it's Bridgestone or nothing. And by Mazda. On any given weekend, there are more Mazda's road race than any other brand. The fans have certainly gotten their money's worth today at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, capping off the 2007 Champ Car World Series season. Their countrymen Dominguez and Martinez turned in good efforts, but the big winner once again, champion Sebastien Bourdais. Camera.
All right, Sebastien Bourdais, 5 seasons, 4 championships, 73 starts. 31 wins, a winning percentage, and he's congratulated by all of his team here. Newman Haas Lanigan, Sebastien, another awesome performance, almost 43% winning percentage in your Champ Car career. It's got to be a great moment here for you.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I can never thank these guys enough for everything they've done to me. I was just crying like a baby in that lap, and man, it was just nobody where to finish this off.
The emotion's starting to come through. The restart, were you worried about power?
Yeah, because obviously he had like 3 times more power to pass than we did, and you know, this car was just, the Magnus car was just too good today.
All right, a great performance. Congratulations, Sebastien.
Thank you. Sebastien.
All right, guys, Sebastien Bourdais, another great performance. Let's throw it back upstairs.
Bourdais caps off an incredible run in the Champ Car World Series. Started 2nd today, got around Will Power, who led the first 23 laps, and Bourdais was headed to the house. Power comes home in 2nd. Oriol Serbia with a terrific run, I think, to 3rd for the PKV team. Really had to battle back today. Let's get the thoughts of the runner-up today, Bill Stevens.
Will Power, probably the most unrewarding job in motorsports is playing catch-up to Sebastien Bourdais, but you got to be happy with your drive today.
Yeah, it was at last we got on the podium. I mean, we've qualified so well this year. We've had a bit of bad luck in the races, but it's really good to finish on a high. It would have been nice to win. I mean, the car was too loose for me coming on the straight here, and I kept having to back off, and Sebastien got me, but you know, good learn for next year, and full credit to Team Australia, Aussie Vineyards, Derek Walker and Craig Gore. They've you know, certainly delivered as far as pace goes this year, and we'll be back next year to fight for the championship.
How'd your wrist hold up today?
It's fine. Once it warms up, it's no problem. It's only when it's cold in the morning it hurts.
You did a great job, Will. Thanks. Back upstairs.
Thought Power had something there for Sebastien Bourdais at the end. Didn't quite work out that way.
And that was the telltale. He said that his car setup, he couldn't hold it flat out around the final corner. Sebastien Bourdais could, with some great driving skill, and that's the way to put an exclamation point on a great 5 years. Cameron?
All right, well, I'm here with Oriol Serbia, who the media is all around, of course, and Oriol, a great performance, coming all the way back to the podium after a tough start.
It was a fantastic race for PKV and myself. We had a little bit of bad luck at the start. The engine just died before the green, so they had to restart me, start last, but after that it was just an amazing race. The car was awesome, really fast, and really proud of all the crew and myself, because I'm really bad at this track, so I'm really happy how everything went, and very proud how we finished the season.
Congratulations again to Oriol Serbia. Send it back upstairs.
Great top 3 run today for Oriol Serbia. At 1 point, 16th after stalling on the initial start. While Roush-Ran's Rookie of the Year standings, Robert Doornbos had locked up that title earlier, the 2 wins this season. Graham Rahal moves to 2nd in the standings ahead of Simone Pageantry. Rahal 2nd in the Rookie of the Year chase this year. Bill Stevens.
Graham, probably mixed emotions. I know you wanted a victory before the end of the year, but to finish 2nd in the Roush-Ran's Rookie of the Year, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, I mean, the key today obviously was to get a win, but secondly, we needed to finish 5th in the points and 2nd in rookie points, and we did it. We did a great job today. I was bummed for the team not to get a 3rd, but at the end, the car was just a little too nervous. We couldn't quite keep ahead of Oriol, and he had a lot of push to pass, so on this long straightaway, it's tough to stay ahead when someone behind you's got 100 more horsepower.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Graham Rahal has a lot to build on, I think. Some podiums this year. Great team that he's racing for, and we look forward to great things for him in the years to come in the Champ Car World Series. It's been a wild one here in Mexico City. We certainly have enjoyed being with you here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez and being with you all season long. 14 great events. We look forward to more next year. Sebastien Bourdais leaves as a great champion, 4 consecutive titles. Brian Beekes, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevenson, Michelle Beisner, I'm Rick Benjamin. We say so long for now from Mexico City. Sebastien Bourdais, the race winner, and your 2007 Champ Car World Series champion. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Thanks for watching our coverage all season long. We look forward to joining you from Long Beach next spring. Coming up next on ESPN2, it is The Contender Uncut. We salute our champion, Sebastien Bourdais. So long from Mexico City.